of the Cattle USA Daily Podcast. Happy Monday, everyone. Today we are again bringing you guys your weekly weather report with Gary Lezak and the Weather 2020 team and everything that they have to offer to us here at Cattle USA, all of the inside tracks on that long-term predictive weather. Today we're talking severe weather threats that we're seeing, the last freeze dates, we're talking what we're seeing for the rest of the spring, all of the things like that, and then just another inside track on what we're seeing from the Weather 2020 side. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this convo with Gary. Gary, happy Friday. Welcome to another episode. What's going on? What's happening in life right now?
Oh my gosh, a lot is going on. So there's a severe weather outbreak that's going to be happening. This is going to air on Monday. So Monday into Tuesday, this is one of our big predictions. And it's like we had predicted a severe weather outbreak for early this week because there was one on December 28th, there was one on March 14th to 16th, and in the middle around February 5th there was a smaller one. So this part of the cycling pattern has produced significant severe weather. We'll have to see how it sets up. It's really going to, anything that forms will be central or eastern Kansas, central or eastern Nebraska eastward. But just know it's right on schedule. It's exciting because Weather 2020, LRC predicted it 80 days ago. It's an 80-day prediction. This is what we're doing and bringing to you and to all of our listeners, and it is just incredible to me. This is a more highly visible one. So I was like, okay, we put our neck out there 80 days ago, and here it's happening. So it's so interesting. We'll see how that sets up. Very good news is that it rained in many spots in the last week. So since the last time I talked to you, north central Kansas being one, just north of Manhattan up near the Nebraska border, 1 to 2 inches, even more than 2 inches of rain. And what that does, and you farmers out there and cattle farmers, let me just tell you, I'm sure the 2 inches of rain is going to trigger the grasses, different types of grasses to grow more significantly, better feed for the cattle. And so just know that this rain has got so many benefits. It wasn't too much. It wasn't too little. It was just right.
Yes, it absolutely was. I know that we in Manhattan didn't get quite as much moisture as the people in Iowa did, but we still got enough, and we were all very grateful for it. It's hitting at the perfect time. It's just the right amount, and you know what? If we could keep that trend, I'd be a happy camper the rest of this spring. So.
Yeah, well, the weather pattern is right on cycle. And so
Yes.
This year's cycle is between 38 and 44 days roughly. So right around 40 or 41 day cycle. So we expected late April into early May to be wetter. It is. I would have personally liked it to see even more widespread, but I can't control the weather. I wish I could. But just know that this part of the pattern that just produced isn't over yet, and then it's going to return late May in the first half of June. That could be really wet then. So I think we're okay on moisture. The drought areas are continuing to shrink just a little bit, and there's still struggle areas of western Nebraska, parts of South Dakota. There's still some areas that are being missed, but our model predicts those to be missed. And so I'm just glad to see some decent rainfall this week. It was good.
Absolutely. What are we seeing coming up in the next couple weeks? Anything to watch out for? Anything that you guys are kind of seeing in those prediction models as we go into the next few weeks?
Yeah, what to watch out for is what's called an omega block. An omega block is where the jet stream will dip down over the west coast, throw up a big ridge over the middle part of the country, and then dip over the east coast. And that goes into the omega, Greek letter omega shape. That's where omega block comes into play. Could one of those develop? If they do, sometimes it can last 10 days, 12 days, and all of a sudden it does dry out significantly. Or it could spread rain back over western Nebraska and western Kansas. So we'll see how that goes. Something to look for. The pattern tried to do that during the winter, but the jet stream is too strong. In May, the jet stream starts weakening consistently as we head towards the first day of summer. So I'm concerned about something like that happening. We'll talk about that next week, because I don't think it's going to happen, but that would be a twist. The LRC provides us all the answers, but most of the answers. And so what's going to happen is, if that's one of those things that blocking can impact a 10-day stretch and all of a sudden you'll start to worry about heat and drought again. But I don't think that's going to happen, but it's something to discuss.
Absolutely. Just something to keep our eyes out on and all of the things as we head into the next few weeks. What are we seeing for the rest of the spring? Are we still thinking freeze dates are kind of keeping the same? What are our thoughts as we look out into the next couple months as we get into planting and everything?
As we go through the next week or two, that's the end of the freeze risks. There may be a little bit of frost. It's interesting when you talk about frost or freezes, it's like, what temperature do you get a frost? If it's 38 degrees, can you have a frost? If it's 36 degrees, is there a frost? Obviously, if it's 30 degrees, you're going to freeze and it's a frost. But it's really, really interesting. I'm telling you, Lauren, what's happening is when it's 38 degrees and there's frost on the grass blades, all right? Do you realize it's not 38 degrees? It's actually 32 on those frosts. So we measure temperature 5 feet above the ground in these little white weather boxes that are ventilated, and that's where our temperature is. It's shaded. So when it's 38 degrees, 5 feet above the ground, it might be 32 degrees on the ground. So that's why you might see frost at 37, 38 degrees, that it often is 6 degrees colder, right 5 feet below you. And the same thing for when you're out in the field in the afternoon and it's 90 degrees, and a cloud comes over you and it feels 10 degrees cooler. It doesn't feel 10 degrees cooler, it actually is 10 degrees cooler. If it's 90 degrees and a cloud comes over you and all of a sudden it's 80 degrees, no, it's actually 90 degrees, but when the cloud goes away, it's 102 probably, is what it really is. There's a lot of things that meteorologists don't tell the truth on, so I'm telling you the truth.
Need a ranch hand, livestock manager, or just some good help around the place? Ranchwork.com is the go-to job board for ranching-focused careers. They connect employers like you with folks who live and breathe the ranching lifestyle. With over 1 million visits a year, your job posting is going to reach a massive audience of experienced, hardworking cowboys, ranch hands, and land stewards, all right here in the U.S. And the best part, the ad rates are super reasonable. So head on over to ranchwork.com and get your job opening in front of the right people today. Hey, if nothing else, you guys can come to this podcast and you're going to get the real. You're going to get our humor and our personalities, but also like Gary's going to give you the no BS reality of the way it is.
So even when it's like 5 degrees outside, you're like, how is that snow melting? Well, because the ground temperature is 33. It's interesting. Even when it's that cold, it's really interesting.
That is very interesting. That's a fun fact that I did not know, that we measured our temperature 5 up.
You didn't know? You look like you knew exactly what I was talking about.
No, smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave. Like, I did not know what you were. I knew the concept of what you were talking about, but I didn't know it was that they measured it 5 feet off the ground.
You'll see them if you drive along the fields. Even a lot of the farmers might have one of these official weather boxes, but the National Weather Service, it's official. You have to be 5 feet above the ground, a white box, so it doesn't have a black box would get really hot. So a white box reflects the sunlight, and it's shaded, and the thermometer and all the instruments are inside that box.
Well, there you go. Learn something new every single day. 5 feet off the ground is the standard. So, gotta love it. As we kind of look out into the rest of spring, what are we seeing for severe weather threats? Are we thinking that we're still gonna have like some more tornado possibilities as we go into late spring? What are our thoughts and thinkings there?
We have to watch when this airs on Monday, so today and tomorrow basically, for the severe weather risk this week. And then May 5th to May 12th is the next one that's in line. So I did a little analysis. There have been nearly 800 tornado reports since October 5th when the LRC set up across the United States. So nearly 800. 70 of those have happened outside of the windows that we predicted. 30 others have happened in our predictions. So some tornadoes do happen outside of our predictions, but we're able to predict the ranges, like May 5th to May 12th is one of them coming up. So that'll be the next one. There's another one later in May with an outlook. And then all the way through August, the weather pattern will continue to cycle, but the jet stream retreats north, and by the first day of summer, tornado season usually ends. There still can be a tornado or two or three or a few of them during the summer, but you still have severe thunderstorms. Large hail, damaging winds can still happen during the summer, just without the jet stream being stronger, and since it weakens as you go towards the first day of summer, usually tornado season will come to a conclusion. We'll talk about that later, but everything's right on schedule. So this week's going to be another one of those tests. We'll see what happens on Monday evening. Hopefully nothing too bad, but there will be a tornado risk across parts of Kansas and Nebraska.
Perfect. So if we're having some people listen to this today that maybe haven't listened to some of our podcasts before or didn't catch our earlier ones where we talked specifically about Weather 2020 and what you guys offer and like what that interface looks like for producers or people that want the inside scoop on this more than just like our Monday episodes. They want the daily, they want exactly for their location. What does that look like? Can you explain that again for us real quick?
We have a really good product as our Weather 2020 Vision dashboard. And every farmer should have this in your arsenal, in your weather forecasting arsenal, your tool chest. It's $1,200 for one state, it's $1,500 for the whole United States, and that's a discount. And it's $2,400 for the whole world. So what you get when you purchase this is that you can go down to your county or your state or the whole United States if you want to, and you can pick out, which weeks, which days are forecasted to be wet. You get an outlook up to a year in advance, a whole year in advance on this dashboard. So you can put in now through early April and you'll get a forecast for next year. But just know it's really good through September 30th because then the new LRC sets up. But this product is being used by over 100 farmers now, and they're loving being able to analyze your forecast weeks in advance. So you can see when the dry weeks are, when the wet weeks are. So there's that tool. And then if you want to just start learning about it, you go to weather20substack.com, weather2020.substack.com. And we have a discount through the end of April. So we have April 30th that cuts off right now. And I'll have to get you that discount code for you guys. $150, so it's half price, 50% off.
Yes. We love it. And we love here at the Cattle USA team partnering with Weather 2020 and what they are doing for the industry, what they're doing for agriculture, and just industries as a whole, because you don't always realize how much weather affects every single industry there is out there, but especially for us cattle ranchers and farmers, how that affects us and our operations, especially as we go into planting and things like that. So make sure you guys check out the show notes down below. We will have all of those links linked down there for you so that you guys can go just learn more about the Weather 2020 team and what their offer is and get signed up at that discount and all of the things. And Gary, as always, thank you so much for your time today on this lovely Friday. It's just always the best way for me to end my weeks chatting with you on Friday mornings. So
you're welcome. Same with me. I mean, you're amazing. I love your personality, and it's great to be doing this each week with you.
Yes, and I get to record a podcast this week from Colorado, where Gary's at too. So we're just a few hours apart from one another right now. But yes, as always, Gary, thank you for your time. And to all of you listeners out there, make sure you like, subscribe, rate, review, share this with a friend. We really appreciate all of the love and affection that we get from you guys as we continue to grow this podcast and this amazing community that you guys are. So thank you guys all again. I hope you have a great Monday and a great start to the week, and we'll see you all next time. Have a good one. Perfect.